Welcome to the second part of our lecture on the basic organization of the nervous system. Previously, we've done just that, and now we're just delving into the basic structures just to give you a bird's eye view of the whole thing. And now let's begin, or let's continue. Now, um, we have dealt with the brain, and we'll continue there. Okay, so let's draw again the sagittal view of the cerebral hemisphere. Okay, and then let's also draw, let me use a different color just to sketch it out there, because we have to draw the cerebral hemispheres with all its basic sulci and gyri. Okay, now, okay, we all know that these folds are for um, to increase the surface area, thus increasing the number of neurons that you can pack inside a tight space. And we have also learned that you have an outer gray matter and an inner white matter with some islands of gray matter interspersed within or floating around those white matter. And we have learned also that gray matter is called gray because, or the significance of the gray matter is because you will find nerve bodies, okay, the soma or the neural bodies of your nerve cells in your gray matter. And then in your white matter, you have your um, axons there. Let me change the color. Okay, so there's your axons there. So gray matter, neural bodies; white matter, axons. Okay, now you see this outer layer. Okay, this outer layer is called your cerebral cortex. Okay, this outer gray matter layer is called cerebral cortex. Now this houses all the neurons interacting one another, and this structure is where all the necessary processes take place. This is all where all the higher brain level functions, high order brain functions are done. Like, for example, judgment, planning, appreciation of beauty, personality. So these higher cognitive functions are made in the cerebral cortex. Other baser instincts like lust, um, rage, they are lower down, which we'll touch on later on. And that's why they are called baser instinct, because their centers are basically at the base of the brain, and we're higher than that. We're supposed to think loftier ideas rather than just succumb to rage. Okay, now that we've dealt with that, we've talked about your gray matter, your white matter, your cerebral cortex. Okay, so let's deal with an important function, your diencephalon. Now, remember when sorry about that, cephalon. Okay, when we mentioned the brain or your cerebral hemisphere, you have your cerebrum and your diencephalon. Now, to make things easy to understand, we'll just discuss what a diencephalon is and the rest would be your cerebrum, correct? So what's a diencephalon? A diencephalon is a ganglia. It's an island of gray matter in the sea of white matter, and it's found here in the middle part at the base of your cerebral hemisphere. You have several um, islands there, but the largest part would be your thalamus. Now, this is your diencephalon. Okay, these um, nuclei, these ganglia. When you say ganglia, they are an island of gray matter. So, how would you know what are these? What makes up your diencephalon? Very simple. Just take all those structures with the word thalamus and you have it. You have your main thalamic nuclei, you have your epithalamus, you have your subthalamus, you have your hypothalamus, and whatever else. Everything that has the word thalamus is part of your diencephalon. Okay? All the rest that you can see here, okay, all the rest here is your cerebrum. Okay? So, basically that's it. Now, when you talk about diencephalon, you already know it's just thalamus, or all the thalamic nuclei you can find there. And the rest would be your cerebrum. Very simple, right? Now, so let's go to the other structures. Okay? Let's go to the other structures. Now, where does your midbrain come in? And etc. etc. Now, remember your cerebral cortex and your gray matter and your white matter. Okay, so you have your neural bodies here. Okay, and definitely they have axons. So all the axons go like that. If you look at it from the side, they're like this. Okay, what does this remind you of? What does it look like? Correct. It looks like a fan. See? I'll draw it again. Okay, this is a fan-shaped conglomeration of axons, and you call that your corona radiata. That fan-shaped radiata. Sorry, wrong spelling. Corona radiata. That's your fan-shaped collection of axons. Okay, and once you gather them together, okay, you tie them up here. Okay, you tie them up here. It now becomes a very dense part of the fan. It also has a name. This part is called your internal capsule. So when you hear the word corona radiata and internal capsule, basically they're just one and the same. The same axon, okay, if you have a neuron here, the neural body, the same axon that goes through your corona radiata is still the same as it goes down to your internal capsule. Okay, that's just the same. Now, here, so this is your corona radiata. Okay, let's label that. And this is your internal capsule. Okay, so it goes down here. Okay, it continues to your there. This is actually now your midbrain. Basically, your midbrain is made up of two columns here, and basically the function of that columns is simply to accept the descending fibers or the ascending fibers. So once you see the internal capsule, not everything is one way. Some are actually going down, some are actually going up. Okay? That's why you have the term ascending tracts and descending. Okay? Depends. If it goes down, it's probably motor. If it goes back up, it's sensory. Okay? Now that we've gone through that, we could discuss the different or the major basic nuclei or ganglia inside your cerebral hemisphere. Okay? I think let's go check out the picture. There. Okay. Now, this is a busy picture, but don't despair. All you have to do is pick important structures here. For example, so this is basically your midbrain. Okay. This is your pons. Okay. And this is your medulla. Okay. And then after that would be your spinal cord. This one big piece here is your cerebellum. And of course, this is your brain. Okay? Do you see what this is? Or do you know what this is? Okay? This part here is basically what connects the two cerebral hemispheres. This one. Okay? This. Your corpus callosum. Your corpus callosum allows, again, it's white matter. It's all axons. It allows the right side of the brain to talk with the left side of the brain. Okay? That's very important, actually. That's what makes neuroanatomy in neuroscience very interesting. Do you know what happens when you cut that connection between two hemispheres? There's actually very interesting clinical cases. Search it sa YouTube. You could find very interesting cases. What people do when that happens. Okay, so let's go check another picture. Okay, now don't get confused. Okay, this one is looking that way. Okay, this is anterior. This is the front. Before, front was on this way, but now we're going this way. Okay, I don't know why Snell did that. He should have, Anyway, so remember that fan shape, that fan shaped collection of axons. Okay, remember the name, corona radiata. And then once it becomes pretty dense down here, it's now called your internal capsule here. Okay, now let's draw that in the sagittal plane, or coronal plane section. Okay, forgive my drawing. Oh, what the heck? Let's erase it. Okay, let's just make it simple. That's your cerebral hemisphere. Okay, let's draw your cerebral cortex. Okay, and then let's draw your thalamic nuclei, your diencephalon. It's very easy to draw, just two oval structures right in the middle. Yeah. Where's your corpus callosum? Here's your corpus callosum here. There. If you want to put the ventricles is there. But anyway, don't worry about that. Now, let's go to your corona radiata. So here's your corona radiata here. Okay, and it coalesces to form your internal capsule. And where does your internal capsule go? It goes down to your midbrain. Okay, down to your pons, down to your medulla, to your spinal cord. Now, but that's not our concern for this slide. What our concern is this one. Oops, this one. What's this? Find it here. Okay, it's a lens-shaped nuclei or ganglia. It's not part of your diencephalon. Remember, your diencephalon is just this. Okay, this is your lens-shaped capsule there, and this lens-shaped capsule is even subdivided into 2 layers. Okay, let's draw that separately here. Looks like this. Okay, 2 layers, an inner and an outer layer. Now that lens-shaped capsule, this one, okay, or this one, this is called your lens-shaped capsule. So lentiform nuclei. Okay, your lentiform nuclei is composed of 2 layers. You can see here. Okay, if you don't want to forget what lentiform nuclei is, you just remember the shape, or you remember whatever your Lola tells you if you do something stupid. She would usually say, toot. Okay, now, your lentiform nuclei is divided into 2 layers. The inner is called your GP, globus pallidus. Okay, and your outer is called your putamen. Again, what your lolo sometimes would say if he drops something, toot. Okay, something that you don't forget easily. For me, I try to remember this as a hard-boiled egg. The inner is yellow, so that's globus pallidus, and the outer is white, putamen. Okay, so I don't know how you want to go about that, but there it is. So this is your lentiform nuclei, but that's not the only nuclei there. There's another nuclei that looks like a tadpole, something like that, and the tip is circular. Okay, so what happens there is this one is on the other side, so the head is here. Sorry, I made it too big, but the head is about here, and then the back goes around, and then the tail is somewhere here. Okay, it looks like a big tadpole. Let's check here. Here it is. So you can see that the lentiform nuclei has 2 layers, the inner globus pallidus and the outer putamen, and then you have that tadpole-like nuclei. Okay, this tadpole-like nuclei has a tail. That's why it's called the caudate nuclei. Okay, so this is the head of the caudate nucleus. Basically, your corona radiata is still here, but it has some connections with your lentiform nucleus. And then the tip here, the tip of the tail is another important nucleus, which is your amygdala. Remember Batman, Bane? He's said to have implants in his amygdala, making him go berserk uncontrollably. Okay, so that's your amygdala. Your amygdala is usually based or involved in addiction, in well, it's a pleasure center, pleasure or reward center. So it's where your rage is, your lust, and whatever else. Okay, so um, well, we're in the 20-minute mark. At least we've finished the different nuclei. Again, here's your diencephalon here, your major thalamic nuclei inside. So again, if you just a quick review, uh, just a quick review. So just a quick review. If this is your cerebral hemisphere, you have your thalamic nuclei here, your corpus callosum there, your corona radiata, internal capsule. Eventually, your internal capsule goes to your midbrain. These structures I just drew are your crus cerebri. But anyway, um, on the outer side of your, or lateral side of your um, internal capsule and corona radiata would be your lentiform nucleus. And we have your caudate nucleus at the back. Okay, there you go. So um, that's it for now. We'll continue on our third session. Okay, so thank you for listening.